Five Nights at Freddy's, a game, movie and book franchise I'm sure you've all heard of. Released in 2014 by solo developer Scott Cawthon, this game was his last attempt at making something successful. And boy was it ever. I, like many of you I'm sure, love Five Nights at Freddy's. Or at least what it once was. I was instantly hooked by the games even though they scared the small boy that I was. But I loved it still. From watching Markiplier and Jacksepticeye scream at every jump scare, to the deep dives into the lore done by MatPat himself, Five Nights at Freddy's was one of the earliest hyperfixations I can remember having. Now, in 2026, Five Nights at Freddy's is bigger than ever. From 12 mainline games with several spin-offs and DLCs, to multiple book series and 2 big budget movies, it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Maybe. As it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So, join me on this exhilarating ride as we dive into the death of Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, I'm not going to be going over FNAF's whole lifespan. That's not what I'm here to do. And it's very long, and I don't want to do that. I just want to focus on what caused the franchise to slowly drop out of the spotlight, in my opinion mostly, so keep that in mind. I haven't really done any research on this video, I'm just going off of my personal opinion, so don't get mad at me. So, in 2018, Scott released Ultimate Custom Night, which essentially served as the nice little bow placed on top of the quote-unquote final game that was Pizzeria Simulator, released the year prior. This was perfectly fine in my opinion. Even though the franchise had already had many endings and final games, I feel like this was the perfect wrap-up to everything overall. And yes, in 2019 we received Help Wanted, which was a VR experience taking you through different aspects of the other games with its own lore involved. However, that's like top 3 Five Nights at Freddy's games of all time, so I ain't talking about that. So, all of this was nice and complete. And then 2021 rolled around and... Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, a completely different take on the FNAF name, with new shiny characters, bright colours, flashy lights, incredible ray tracing.
Jesus, look at this ray tracing! Everything's covered in gold sparkles. This isn't ray tracing at all, they just dumped glitter.
And a big open map you can run around in with incredible load times.
Is the frame rate part of the scares? This is awful to look at.
Okay, I joke, but unironically, I loved Security Breach. Watching it, that is. But this is where the franchise started to dip. The lore for this game was confusing. Big surprise, it's Five Nights at Freddy's. But not just in the sense that it was very hidden, but more so there was multiple endings with only one canon one, and from my understanding the canon one isn't the fully rendered 3D animation involving Springtrap, again because he is actually dead this time, but it's in fact just one of the many other comic book endings because why not? As well as this, and this, and this, and this, and Robot Kid, but you get the point. Security Breach, though I found it oddly enjoyable, the lore wasn't very captivating. It took too much away from the original lore to me and just started to spiral. The Security Breach DLC Ruin falls a little under the same roof, but I won't get into that one too much, as I would rather talk about what it set up, which is... Oh boy. Do I have a few choice words to say about this game. Now, I've skipped a couple things, like Help Wanted 2, but that's because the game was forgettable, so I don't even want to spend time talking about it. But Secret of the Mimic is not forgettable to me, but not for a good reason. Now, let me get it out of the way first. I don't like the Mimic. I think it's a boring character. We've gone from Springtrap, big Willie A himself, to a can't decide on what to wear robot. I don't like it. Second, this game, it looks exactly like Poppy's Playtime. Even plays the same with the puzzles. I know I might get hate for this, but this game is the downfall of Five Nights at Freddy's to me. The game doesn't interest me. The lore doesn't interest me. The characters don't interest me. It's just not good. I would rather play Baldi's Basics over this. And I've never played Baldi.
Congratulations!
Okay, I think the game looks good, and compared to Security Breach, visually and functionally... Functionally? I can't say that word. Functionally, it's definitely an improvement. But I don't know, man. It just doesn't do it for me. It's not Five Nights at Freddy's to me, it's just another mascot horror. I don't think this is just a me opinion either. I mean, the rage bait of a TikTok I made when the game first came out alone, there's plenty of people in support of my opinion, and some not. Go follow my TikToks, by the way. I just think the whole idea of a robot that is just a mimic is far less interesting than a psycho child killer turned rotting corpse inside of a decommissioned animatronic that he then possesses. To me, Secret of the Mimic is a step in the wrong direction for the franchise. Having said that, there's still one more thing I'm yet to talk about. So I wouldn't say I love the first movie by any means. As a fan of the overall franchise, I do enjoy it. Yes, it has issues, a lot of them, but I do enjoy it and was somewhat okay with where they took the lore, apart from a few standout things.
His name is William Afton. God, please, no!
But I had hoped that they would continue it well. And they didn't. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, or the movie, came out on December 5th, 2025. So it isn't even a year old yet. But good googly do I hear this movie. Not everything about it sucks, but a lot of it does. I'll stick to my main points here, else I'll just end up rambling. But my biggest issues with this movie are how they handled the puppet and Michael Afton. I feel like Michael as a character didn't exist before the first movie came out. And when they saw all the criticism of Mike not being Michael Afton, they decided, hey, by the way, this guy did exist before, but was never mentioned by any of his family in the other one, but we promise he was here the whole time. Also, Michael is supposed to hate his father, not want to follow in his footsteps. So unless movie 3 takes this somewhere else as if it were like a fake out, I don't think it's going to work. Now, the puppet in this movie actually sucks. Like, what even is this garbage? Why does it possess people? And why does she move like that? I don't like how they made the puppet what appears to be the movie's version of the Vengeful Spirit, because that's meant to be our golden F. But apparently in this movie, he is the forgiving one. So I guess they just swapped roles. But I mostly just hate the possessing thing. Like, it's so stupid, and it looks stupid. Like, look at it! Also, the original animatronics coming to save the day with the power of friendship was also incredibly dumb. I really don't like this movie, and it's mainly why I believe Five Nights at Freddy's is at its lowest point ever, and unless they build something back, it might just stay there, because the only redeeming thing about the second movie was the post-credits scene, and the fact that Springtrap will be in the third, and he better get a lot of screen time, I swear, because Matthew Lillard is goated, and he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. Also, side note, what is this? Like, what does this mean? How does this work? I don't know. Overall, I still love Five Nights at Freddy's as a franchise, however, I don't like the spot it's currently in. With the newest release being a goddamn Secret at the Mimic VR version instead of an actual new game, there isn't even a bright future ahead for the franchise other than the hope that the third movie is good. But who knows? Maybe we should all just patiently wait for Poppy Playtime Chapter 6 instead, because that will definitely be the last one, and it will definitely be good.
This was a fucking mess.